Do you know about that one crime that shook the whole of Britain? Hold on to your tea while you hear about it. The Great Train Robbery of August 8, 1963, was one of the most daring and infamous heists in British history. A well-organized gang of 15 men, led by Bruce Reynolds, successfully stopped a Royal Mail train in the early hours of the morning and stole £2.6 million. This is the story of how they executed the robbery and how the law finally caught up with them. The mastermind and the plan. Bruce Reynolds was an experienced thief and smuggler who dreamed of one big job that would set him up for life. He assembled a team of criminal specialists, including Ronnie Biggs, a small-time criminal who played a minor role, Buster Edwards, a career thief and future subject of the film Buster, Charlie Wilson, the gang's treasurer who handled the money, Tommy Wisby, Jim Hussey, Bob Welch, and Gordon Goody, strongmen who controlled the robbery, Roger Corddry, a train expert who knew how to operate the railway signals. Stopping the train. The gang targeted the Glasgow to London Royal Mail train, which carried large amounts of cash, especially after a bank holiday weekend. How they did it. 1. Tampering with the signals. Roger Corddry rigged a railway signal near Ledburn, Buckinghamshire, to show a red light, forcing the train to stop. 2. Infiltrating the train. As the train stopped, the gang ambushed the driver, Jack Mills, and knocked him unconscious.
No, you can only see their eyes. They all look the same to me.
3. Uncoupling the train cars, they detached most of the train, leaving only the engine and one mail carriage to avoid unnecessary hostages. 4. Loading the money. The gang moved 120 mail bags full of cash into a waiting truck. By 3:30 a.m., the robbers had disappeared into the night, heading for their hideout, a remote farmhouse called Leatherslade Farm. The escape plan. At Leatherslade Farm, the gang planned to lay low for weeks, avoiding police attention before dispersing with the money. They wore gloves to avoid fingerprints. They destroyed evidence and had false alibis prepared. But they made one critical error. The gang was supposed to burn down Leatherslade Farm before leaving. However, they abandoned the plan, believing it was unnecessary. When police found the farmhouse, they discovered a Monopoly board with the gang's fingerprints, food packaging, and receipts, leading detectives to local suppliers. This was enough for Scotland Yard to track down the criminals one by one. The arrest and trial. Scotland Yard launched one of the biggest manhunts in UK history. Within months, most of the gang members were arrested. Key arrests. Charlie Wilson, arrested within a few months, but later escaped from prison, earning the nickname the Silent Man. Ronnie Biggs, captured, sentenced to 30 years, but escaped in 1965, living in exile for decades before voluntarily returning to the UK. Bruce Reynolds, arrested in 1968 in Mexico, extradited and sentenced to 25 years. Buster Edwards, evaded capture for a while but later surrendered. Sentences. In 1964, 11 members of the gang were convicted and given a combined 307 years in prison. Bruce Reynolds, 25 years. Charlie Wilson, 30 years. Ronnie Biggs, 30 years. Buster Edwards, 15 years. Ronnie Biggs became the most famous fugitive from the robbery. In 1965, he escaped from Wandsworth Prison, climbed over the wall, and fled to Paris for plastic surgery. He later moved to Brazil, where he lived openly for decades. Due to Brazil's extradition laws, the UK couldn't bring him back. In 2001, an aging Biggs voluntarily returned to the UK due to health problems. He was immediately arrested and sent back to prison. The Great Train Robbery remains one of the most legendary heists in history, inspiring countless movies, books, and TV shows.